like clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Boruto chapter 52 review. Alright guys, this chapter was definitely a very good chapter, and the same part is that the next chapter is supposed to be even better. Now I think that this chapter, in my opinion, was more of like a hype chapter, but of course they did give us a lot of well-known information that we did need going into the next chapter of Boruto. First things first is going to be Naruto's brand new form. Of course, that was the biggest draw to the last chapter and also this chapter as well. Naruto's new form seems like it definitely performed. Even Sasuke said it. It seemed that Naruto was even stronger than Isshiki Otsutsuki, which is an absolutely insane feat. Isshiki Otsutsuki, when he was weakened in his Jigen form, was still stronger and faster than Naruto and Sasuke. Isshiki Otsutsuki, with the power boost of being reborn in his actual body, Naruto is still stronger and faster than him. Naruto's actual perception is a lot faster as well. If you guys do recall, Isshiki Otsutsuki used to hit Naruto and Sasuke with little rods that they could barely see. Even Sasuke said, even with his mature Sharingan and also his running gun, he basically never really seen the rods, and Naruto himself 100% dissected it and just absolutely caught the rods. That right there never really happened before when someone was fighting against Isshiki Otsutsuki. Even if they knew that it was actually coming, they just could not necessarily catch it or deflect it. So not only is Boruto faster and stronger, but also his perception, his dexterity, his abilities, all that is extremely heightened. One of the things that we didn't necessarily get to see as of yet, Naruto do something in terms of jutsu. I personally think if Naruto would actually use like a Rasengan or something, or catch Isshiki Otsutsuki lacking, it would definitely be something very good. One of the reasons why Naruto's Rasengan didn't necessarily work in the previous chapters is because Isshiki Otsutsuki has the ability to shrink things, and of course Naruto, because he was slower than Isshiki Otsutsuki could easily see the Rasengan and shrink the Rasengan. But in this particular situation, well, we know that Naruto is faster and stronger than Isshiki Otsutsuki. Naruto can potentially catch Isshiki Otsutsuki off guard and hit him with Rasengan, and that right there will pretty much end the whole thing in my opinion, and we're probably going to get to see a little bit more of that in the next chapter. Now, a couple of things that I do want to point out. Naruto's Grandmaster plan is basically him tying his life force to Isshiki Otsutsuki, and of course this is like a rough explanation, it's not 100% accurate, but you guys are gonna get the gist of it. He's basically tying his life to Isshiki Otsutsuki and figuring out which one of their life forces is probably gonna run out first. Now at the rate that we are seeing, it seems that Isshiki Otsutsuki's life force is probably gonna run out quicker than Naruto's life force, and we actually got some measurements on Isshiki Otsutsuki's life force. Now Isshiki Otsutsuki at first said conservatively he was expecting 20 hours of life, basically what we thought, and it was actually a little bit quicker than we thought. We originally thought it was probably gonna be about 3 days to about 2 days or something like that, but he actually said 20 hours. But in this particular situation, because of Naruto's new abilities, he basically shrank that down all the way to like 30 minutes, which was a crazy time shift. Naruto and Kurama was basically conversing. They were saying that, hey Naruto, you just have to hit Isshiki Otsutsuki, you just have to damage him so his life force can go down even more to where he actually dies before you do, which was definitely a great plan. And because we already knew that Naruto was faster and stronger than Isshiki Otsutsuki, it was definitely possible for Naruto to actually hit Isshiki Otsutsuki a little bit more. Like we're literally seeing Naruto have the Floyd Mayweather strategy, where it's like it doesn't really matter in terms of the power behind your blows, you just have to get those points in a boxing match. But in this particular situation, you just have to take the time down a little bit more to where Isshiki Otsutsuki dies before you do. And of course that was a very good plan, and as we've seen right now, Isshiki Otsutsuki only has about 10 minutes left. Now what we know is the fact that Isshiki Otsutsuki is most likely going to get extremely desperate, and we've seen a little bit of that in this chapter right here. He got extremely resourceful and found a way to teleport Kawaki to the actual battle scene, which was absolutely insane. I didn't really think that that was going to happen at all. I didn't even think that Kawaki would be found by Isshiki Otsutsuki, especially when he only had about 30 minutes or about 10 minutes left. I thought it was ball game, but of course all of that was completely erased when Isshiki Otsutsuki basically summoned Kawaki to the battlefield. And not only that, he was able to summon Kawaki to the battlefield because of the prosthetic arm. He was basically able to trace Naruto's chakra back to the prosthetic arm and just automatically summon Kawaki. Now again, I do want to point out, we don't really know exactly what's the situation behind all of this and why this actually did take place. The Otsutsuki clan's powers are largely unknown. When we talk about the Otsutsuki clan, we talked about this for a very long time. The riders have free reign. They could literally do almost anything. Like if Isshiki Otsutsuki just summons like a whole museum or like a mausoleum out of nowhere and just puts it right there on the battlefield, no one will question it. Everybody just be like, hey, that's just his power. So of course him just completely teleporting Kawaki to the battlefield just off of the basis of Naruto's chakra being linked to Kawaki, everybody's going to be cool with it. I definitely think that everybody should be cool with it as well. Now at the very end of the chapter, we got a very huge hint towards Momoshiki actually making an appearance in the next chapter of Boruto. What we understand is that throughout this chapter, Boruto has been extremely injured, and in this chapter as well, he actually passed out and fainted. Very similar to what we've seen Boruto do before, but regardless, in this particular situation, he opened his eyes and it looked like he had a Byakugan or the Dojutsu. Now, in my opinion, I think that's 100% going to be the Jogan when the Boruto manga actually gets adapted into the Boruto anime, but as of right now, of course, it looks like a Byakugan. But we do know the side of Boruto's Dojutsu in the Boruto manga is definitely a sign that Momoshiki is actually going to be taking over. The only other time that we did see the Boruto's Jogan in the Boruto manga is when Momoshiki did actually take over Boruto's body. He was actually fighting against Akata Insider, which was Bora, which one insane thing is that battle actually started exactly a year ago. It seems like it was only a couple months ago, but yeah, actually a year ago. But regardless, now we finally get to see a situation where Boruto and Momoshiki finally enter the battle. This has been something that we've been hyping up for a very long time. I said this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people said this before in the past. I believe before we even knew about Naruto's new form, we believe that Naruto and Sasuke alone could not beat Isshiki Otsutsuki. It was well understood that Isshiki Otsutsuki would easily be able to wash Naruto and Sasuke, but of course we thought that the trump card was going to be Momoshiki and Boruto entering the battle. Of course, what we understood is that Momoshiki, if he does, take over Boruto's body while Boruto does actually have some chakra, it could possibly put that character on the level of Naruto and Sasuke, and 3 people of that caliber can definitely defeat Isshiki Otsutsuki. Now, it is extremely late into the battle, and I think that it might be a little bit too late for Naruto, but hey, we have absolutely no idea at this particular point. One of the things that I was really hoping in this chapter is the fact that Naruto could possibly weaken Isshiki Otsutsuki to the point where he doesn't necessarily have to complete the actual form that he does have to actually end his own life, and Sasuke could potentially take over and defeat or weaken Isshiki Otsutsuki. And in this particular situation, it basically heightens that possibility, man, because not only is Sasuke going to be able to take on Isshiki Otsutsuki in this hypothetical situation, but also Momoshiki and Boruto could potentially jump in and just completely finish Isshiki Otsutsuki off just like that. But of course, this is just all hypothetical, and of course, with the Boruto writers do want Naruto to die at this particular point, which I do want to point out. It is Kishimoto for this chapter. It will have Naruto die. So of course, this is just all hypothetical. The next chapter is going to be extremely tricky. One of the things that Isshiki Otsutsuki or Jigen has been consistent with throughout the whole time is the fact that he doesn't really care about Naruto or Sasuke, and he doesn't really care about beating them in battle. The only thing he cares about is overall plan. And of course, right now, his overall plan is going to be to give Kawaki the Karma Seal. Isshiki Otsutsuki did actually get reborn into his body, and he actually did infiltrate the Hidden Leaf Village. His plan wasn't necessarily to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village or beat Naruto and Sasuke. His plan was just to find Kawaki, and of course he didn't really care what Naruto and Sasuke did. Now at this particular point, of course, Naruto, Sasuke, and Momoshiki, they could be beating on Isshiki Otsutsuki for as long as they want. If Isshiki Otsutsuki gets a hold of Kawaki for just like a second, like a millisecond, it's over. All he wants to do is implant Kawaki with the Karma Seal. Now in terms of specifically what Isshiki Otsutsuki has to do to actually implant Kawaki with the Karma Seal, we have absolutely no idea. We understand when Momoshiki actually did implant Boruto with this Karma Seal, Momoshiki was literally in the midst of dying. Like, he was actually getting hit with a gigantic Rasengan. So of course, what we understand right now is the fact that the Boruto writers, they have free reign. As I said before, with Otsutsuki members, they have free reign, and especially in this particular situation, there's just all possibilities. Literally, Naruto and Momoshiki could combine their powers to make an immense Rasengan, and Sasuke just infuses it with a whole bunch of lightning style to just completely destroy Isshiki Otsutsuki, and just somehow Kawaki would still end up with the Karma Seal. We have absolutely no idea at this particular point. I think one of the things that could possibly happen is, of course, Momoshiki understanding that he possibly has to get Kawaki out of that particular situation, just sends Kawaki to a brand new dimension. One of the things that we just cannot forget, of course, is the fact that in chapter 1 and in episode 1 of the Boruto anime, Kawaki still has the Karma Seal, so there's definitely a very good chance that Isshiki Otsutsuki is actually going to succeed in actually giving Kawaki the Karma Seal. Let me know what you guys think about this chapter in the comment section below, and give me some of your opinions about this chapter, man. What do you guys think about Momoshiki actually coming back? What do you guys think that he'll possibly do in the next chapter? And not only that, give me some of your opinions about Naruto's new form. Do you guys like it? Do you guys appreciate it? What do you guys think that Naruto could potentially do in the next chapter? But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.